In the early 1960s, the world lived in the shadow of the bomb. Two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, built enough weapons to destroy humanity many times over. And every year, the tension grew heavier. By October of 1962, that fear finally reached its breaking point. American spy planes discovered Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the coast of Florida. For the first time in history, both sides were staring directly into the possibility of nuclear war. Governments prepared for the worst. Families built shelters. Newspapers filled with alarming headlines. The world held its breath. But far below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, something even more dangerous was happening. A Soviet submarine, B-59, crept through black water, trying to avoid the American naval blockade. Inside the submarine, conditions were brutal. Temperatures climbed past 100 degrees. The crew could barely breathe in the thick, stagnant air. And worst of all, they had lost contact with Moscow. No radio, no instructions, no clue whether war had already begun. Every explosion outside the submarine shook the metal walls. American ships were dropping practice depth charges, warning shots, but the Soviet crew didn't know that. To them, it sounded like the beginning of World War III. Inside the command room, nerves began to break. The B-59 carried a single, special weapon, a nuclear torpedo powerful enough to destroy an entire fleet. Launching it required the agreement of 3 officers: the captain, the political officer, and the flotilla commander on board. 2 of them believed war had started. 2 of them agreed to launch the nuclear torpedo. But one man refused. His name was Vasili Arkhipov. Arkhipov was calm, quiet, and thoughtful, the kind of man who listened before he spoke. But in that moment, his voice carried more weight than any other in the submarine. He pushed back against panic. He doubted the explosions meant war. He doubted Moscow would attack the United States without warning. And he believed that launching the torpedo would trigger a global catastrophe from which no one would return. Inside the overheated submarine, surrounded by exhausted men and endless alarms, Arkhipov stood his ground. He demanded that they surface. He insisted they confirm what was happening before making a decision that could wipe out millions. And in the end, he stopped the launch. The submarine rose slowly to the surface, blinded by sunlight, surrounded by American ships, but still alive. The world remained intact. The unimaginable never happened. Most people never learned this story. Most history books never mention Arkhipov's name. But the truth is simple. One man prevented a nuclear war. One man kept fear from winning. One man, deep under the ocean, saved the world. Not with weapons, not with power, but with a clear mind in a moment of chaos. Today, we live in a world shaped by a decision almost no one saw, and almost no one remembers. This is the legacy of Vasili Arkhipov, the man who stopped the end.